Computer History Timeline. What is computer? Computer is a programmable machine. Computer is a machine that manipulates data according to a list of instructions. Computer is any device which aid humans in performing various kinds of computation or calculation. Earliest computer. Originally, calculations were computed by humans whose job title was computers. These human computers were typically engaged in the calculation of a mathematical expression. The calculations of this period were specialized and expensive, requiring years of training in mathematics. The first use of the world computer was recorded in 1613, referring to a person who carried out calculation or computation, and the word continued to be used in that sense until the middle of the 20th century. What is an abacus? An abacus is a calculating tool that's been used for centuries and is still popular in many countries. When was the abacus invented? The exact date of the invention of the original counting frame is unknown. The abacus is believed to have been invented between 2700 BC and 300 BC. How to use an abacus? This calculating tool uses a counting frame in a series of beads on an upper and lower set of rods. Beads are pushed to the center to mark numbers in different place values, making it easy to make complex calculation. Is the abacus the first computer? Well, not technically a computer. The abacus is known as the first calculating tool. It's also one of the first inventions that led to the first computer, credited to Charles Babbage in 1822. Jacquard loom, also called Jacquard attachment or Jacquard mechanism. The Jacquard loom is important to computer history because it is the first machine to use interchangeable punch card to instruct a machine to perform automated tasks. Having a machine that could perform various tasks is similar to today's computer programs that can be programmed to perform different tasks. The Jacquard loom was also an inspiration to Charles Babbage planning to use perforated cards in his analytical engine. Hermann Hollerith also used the idea of punch cards to not only store information, but to input information into a computing device, helping to create the company IBM. Today's textile looms no longer use punch cards. Instead, they can use a digital scanner to create a pixelated digital version of any image. This digital version is used to create instruction for the loom to make a textile version of the scan. We could argue that the first computer was the abacus, but many people consider English mathematician Charles Babbage analytical engine to be the first computer resembling today's modern machine. What is the analytical engine? Charles Babbage, an English mathematician and pioneer, proposed the analytical engine, a mechanical general-purpose computer. The successor to Babbage's difference engine was originally described in 1837. When was Charles Babbage analytical engine invented? The analytical engine, often known as the first computer, was planned and built in part by Charles Babbage, an English inventor in the 19th century. How does an analytical engine work? It could be programmed using punch cards inspired by the Jacquard loom, which Jacquard used to weave complicated patterns in fabrics. In addition, the engine contained a store where the analytical engine could store numbers and intermediate result as well as separate meal for arithmetic computation. Who was the programmer for Charles Babbage analytical engine? Lady Ada Lovelace, Babbage's assistant, was dubbed the first computer programmer, since she wrote math problems for Babbage computers. How did the analytical engine impact society? The capacity to modify the functioning of the machine by changing the instruction on punch card was one of its most groundbreaking features. Is the analytical engine still used? To this day, many of these procedures are still used, and binary code is still the foundation for all programming. Although most of Babbage's life work centered around the design and building of calculating machines, Babbage never put the analytical engine into operation. Before we had computer engineer or computer scientists to design and build computers, researchers from many disciplines including physics, mathematics, and electrical engineering worked to develop the first computing machines. Iowa State University rule in the modern computing history began in 1937 when a physics professor and an electric engineering alumnus, then a graduate student in physics, began working to develop the world's first electronic digital computer. But the machine also was the first But the machine also was the first to use several innovations that are still a part of today's computers: a binary system of arithmetic, separate memory and computing function, regenerative memory, parallel processing, electronic amplifier as on-off switches, circuits for logical addition and subtraction, clock control of electronic operation in a modular design. To program the Z1 required that the user insert punch tape into a punch tape reader, and all output was also generated through punch tape. World War II hindered the progress for computer inventor like Atanasoff and Zeus, but had the opposite effect on the first British step toward creation of electronic computers. During the war, the Department of Communication of British Foreign Office created machines which used electronic circuit to assist the British in decoding intercepted German radio messages coded with a special machine. The English electronic computer were created by a group of people with the leading role of two famous English mathematicians, Maxwell Newman and the engineer Thomas Flowers. Without them, the Allies would have been deprived of the very valuable military intelligence that was obtained from reading the vast quantity of encrypted high-level telegraph messages between the German High Command and their army commands throughout occupied Europe. What is the Harvard Mark I? The Harvard Mark I was an early electromechanical computer. It used punch tape and a series of switches and drive shaft to automatically perform calculation and was also known as the IBM Automatic Sequence Controlled Calculator or the ASCC. When was the Harvard Mark I invented? Howard Aiken initially designed the Mark I in 1937 while still a graduate student at Harvard. Aiken continued to refine his invention as he sought a company interested in building the device, and the final version of the Mark I was not finished until IBM approved the project in February of 1939. The device was built at IBM Endicott Lab in New York over the next 3 years and was constructed at Harvard in 1944. How was the Harvard Mark I programmed? The Mark I was programmed using punch tape and punch cards, a typical method of programming early computers. Programmers would create their programs by punching holes in cards or paper tape and then feed this into the device, which would follow the instruction and print out the correct calculation. Punch tape techniques lead to terminology still in use today, such as a loop of code, a piece of punch tape that formed a physical loop and feed constantly into the machine, and the term punch to represent a fix for buggy code. In the case of punch tape, literal patches of paper over incorrect made holes. Who made the Harvard Mark I? The inventor of the Harvard Mark I was Howard Aiken. However, many other engineers and designers at IBM Endicott Labs worked on the creation of the machine itself. Among them, James W. Bryce, Claire Lake, and Frank Hamilton. Harvard graduate student Robert Campbell also helped in the machine construction, supervising the final stages. The frame for the finished device was designed by Norman Bell Geddes. What was the Harvard Mark I used for? The Mark I primary function was to calculate and print sets of numerical tables, lists of solutions to various mathematical operations. The Mark I was used almost exclusively by the U.S. Navy. For instance, the Mark I's tables were used to assist in the design of various equipment, including surveillance cameras and radars. One other long-running project was the use of the Mark I to compute Bessel functions, solution to a specific type of differential equation with many applications. The computer's most controversial rule is probably its use by John von Neumann in calculating detonation methods for nuclear warhead as part of the Manhattan projects. Why was the Harvard Mark I important to computer development? The Mark I was important to the development of computer because it represented the first time a machine could automatically calculate any arbitrary set of numbers. It also represented an evolution of punch card machine from single-use to multi-purpose devices. Alan Kay, an American computer scientist, came up with the concept of a tablet named Dynabook, which he detailed in his writing that he later published. Kai invention, a personal computing device for children that works pretty much like a personal computer. How laptop has changed our lives. Back in the day, laptops were used only for work purposes, but nowadays, they are more than just a laptop. They are our best friends. We take them everywhere with us because they are an extension of ourselves. We use them for everything from watching our favorite TV show to playing games and surfing the internet. Laptops have made our lives so much better. From school to work, they have become an inseparable part of our life. The laptop is a must have in today's world. It's no longer just for students or office workers. You can find laptops in almost every field, all over the world. They have revolutionized the way we work and live. They save us time, they help us focus on our work, and they allow us to be more productive than ever before. It may not seem like that big of a deal if you've never gone without one, but it has changed our lives in many ways. We now have the ability to work from anywhere. We can store all our information digitally and access it quickly. And we can always be connected to the world through social media or email, even if we're on vacation. Are smartphone and tablet considered a computer? Yes, smartphone and tablet are indeed considered a computer. A computer is really any device that accepts input from a user, performs calculation on that inputs and provide an output to the user. Sadly, Windows XP tablet could not live up to its hype as Microsoft could not integrate the keyboard-based Windows OS into a 100% touchscreen device yet. Many other companies followed Apple's footsteps, releasing re-imaged design of the iPad, leading to saturation in the market. Later, Microsoft made up for their earlier misstep and created the touch-friendlier Windows tablets that were convertible and work as light laptops. Since 2010, there have not been many more crucial advancements in tablet computing technology. As at early 2021, Apple, Microsoft, and Google are so far the major players in the industry. Today, you'll find sleek devices such as the Nexus, Galaxy Tab, iPad Air, and Amazon Fire. These devices offer hundreds of millions of pixels, run a wide range of widgets, and hardly use a stylus as Kai invention. Time will reveal that other advancement we can get in tablet technology in the future. Since then, smartwatches have become more and more sophisticated with internet, phone, camera, and navigation capabilities. Significance of smartwatches. This shows that smartwatch is the gadget to the mankind, but the only disadvantage of this smartwatch is without the smartphone, it is useless. Smartwatch is a computerized wrist watch with functionality that is enhanced beyond timekeeping. While earlier models can perform basic tasks such as calculation, translation, and gaming playing, modern smartwatches are effectively wearable computers. Many run mobile apps using a mobile operating system. Some models, also called watch Smartphones featured full mobile phone capabilities and can make or answer a phone call. The smartwatches are the wearable gadget which keep us hand-free and yet allow us to use our smartphones away from us. Beside of the smartwatch style, the function of smartwatch also some of the reason why the user need it. Smartwatch also can help user to access social network faster and reduce need to take out phone. So it will ease the user from always keeping out their smartphone out of their pocket. By applying this, the user can do all of the feature easily in their own risk, that is by using smartwatch. In a nutshell, smartwatch can affect its user by giving benefits to them, such as it can ensure user safety, help user in maintaining fitness in daily life.